and it ended. Like, I don't know if you intended to end the YouTube stream.
I did, and then
I was talking about that one.
An error popped up and I didn't see it, so it should be working now. But thank you for letting me know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's working. It's working now.
Woo.
We have a new channel which is Manage Interests. Quick show of emojis. Who has seen it and or used it, or has thoughts about it?
And
any of the above?
Yeah. So about half the people in here know what this is. A big shout out to Mary for putting this all together. It was many weeks in the making. Some of you have probably seen this on other servers, but we wanted to construct it very thoughtfully.
Is anybody here confused about what this is?
Emoji if you're confused or bored. Either or. We want that feedback. No? Okay.
No, I'm not seeing any. Cool. All right. So, does anyone have any thoughts on this? There's room for more to be added to it.
If you could have bridge makers do something important or focus on a topic or interest in your life, what would it be? This is your moment. Shout it out. Type it out. Even if it's silly, like trimming the roots off of green onions in the springtime. I know, very specific, but shops or raid Publix. Oh, yes. We're going to bridge maker raids will be the new thing.
Yeah, I think it'll come, I'll need to see how these end up getting used. Like if we're going to, if they'll be used to like ping for certain types of events or
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll build more categories as we go, but we're going to keep it simple for now. And if you do have thoughts of going, wow, I thought Bridge Makers was going to be offering this kind of thing, but I don't see where to sign up for that. That is what we want to hear from you. Thank you, Mary, for setting that up.
All right.
Ooh.
And lastly, just to reiterate, we do have a community shoutouts post. It's kind of hidden. It's in resources on the notice board. And this is where you all can post shoutouts about your own communities without having to be part of our community bridges.
Oh, yes. And we have a survey now that I have not sent out. So I'm going to post that in the server right now in the Leadership Summit area where you RSVP for, hopefully. And that is a survey you can fill out. This page starting next month will be replaced by a community shout out bulletin. And we're going to start having community leaders or the biggest community fans of a community, if the leaders aren't available, come in and talk to us for 5 minutes about their community. And we're going to use that survey to populate those details. So they'll have a shiny slide and maybe even a little soundbite clip about talking about what they love about that community, and we can send it to them. So we're going to build a little library of people describing one thing they love about it and one thing they hope for it, kind of thing. So starting next month, if we have enough helpers to have a leadership summit. Little caveats. Woo.
All right. Up next is Civil Discourse graduation ceremony.
Yay,
We've
graduation.
kind of had one, but over to you, Venia.
Well, we have had one. We had one among members and whatnot. But this is official, right? This is a big deal because I don't want to toot my own horn in any way, shape, or form. But we ended up with half the class graduating. And of that half of the class, I cannot be more proud of any of the students. I just really cannot be more proud. Now, of the half of the class that didn't graduate, they got insanely close. Like we had upwards of like 80%, which is amazing. And we had a 60% graduation for the full thing. And this was our first course, which is just great metrics, right? It's fantastic for bridge makers. What it tells us is that this is very successful. But that's the boring part, right? Like that's just I mean, it's just metrics. It's just marketing is designing or whatever. What really actually matters here is that every award we're about to give away is one individual better equipped to create a better virtual world, to make bridge makers better and then leave bridge makers to make VR chat better, to make meta better, to make their own local towns better. So when it comes to how successful the class was or anything like that, just one award means that we have made an incredibly strong, powerful influence for a person. And that person will go on to do great and incredible and valuable things, right? Now, when it comes to the certificates for bridge makers specifically, we also know that this is one out of what we are initially planning to be a good 4 different courses, right? And our second course is already up and coming. So to know that we've been so successful on this first venture is something that fills my heart with so much joy. It's absolutely amazing. And I am so very stoked to have these class members who are going through getting their certificates and taking it out into the bigger, wider world. So first, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the Bridgemakers course, all of you students. If you are not a part of the Bridgemakers course, I would really love it if you joined us in celebrating this incredible and amazing accomplishment for all of the students. So with that, I'm going to bring up each individual student to just kind of be recognized for your award, for your certification on an official level. We've already sent that information, so it's not like an empty diploma or anything like that, right? So I'd just really like to celebrate everyone as they come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with Armani. So Armani, you graduated. If you would please be so kind as to come up here for me.
Yay. Go Armani.
Yay.
Somebody can sing off tune the pomp and circumstance or whatever. We should have had music for each of you next time. Da, 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 da.
So one of the things that I loved about Armani being present in the course is that he wasn't just present in the course, he was actually present in helping to develop the course. So this actual design, the certification is actually Armani's design, which says so much about everything that you've done for bridge makers, everything that you continue to do for bridge makers. And when I think about your capacities as a deliberative facilitator, you're leaving now to be a deliberative facilitator in the bigger, wider world. I just think about how calm and collected and in-depth you tend to make the discussions that you're a part of. So I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to do this course and help us create a better virtual world.
Aww.
Thank you.
Emojis
So
for Armani.
Armani, do you have any just reflections of how it went or what you feel like you gained? And just not to put you too on the spot.
It's no problem. It's like I just enjoyed learning more about, there is a way to find a bridge between not just what works in community, but also what doesn't always work. So helping people through that, and realizing there's a full journey, a full circle kind of journey that exists, and that there can be a space for that. I enjoy that this course, like their megaphone, right? That made it clearer. So
What'd you say, Jay?
I appreciate that. Can't hear him in the back. Is there a megaphone to turn him up?
No, there's not. You're talking soft, Armani. But I heard you say something about really this class helped you solidify that there are ways to work with wicked problems and controversial topics and do that collectively so people have voices together. Did I get that?
Yeah, I'll add on to that also. It's kind of just like there's a pathway for what works in communities, and not just what works, but also what doesn't work in communities, and that we can bring it full circle. And there can be an environment, a third space. There's space for like all of that. It doesn't have to be just sorting out what doesn't work in the community. So
That's really well put.
Well, thank you so much, Armani, and congratulations.
Go Armani.
Such a big deal. And we have our next person, Astral. I'm not sure if Astral has joined us today.
I don't think
do
so.
not believe so.
Nope.
Yep. But we are going to celebrate her anyway. So everyone who's watching on stream, emojis all around for Astral. One of my favorite things about Astral's presence is always how quickly Astral can elevate a discussion. I really do feel like Astral and I share this trait where we just want nothing more than to share what's in our heads. And she's an absolutely voracious reader. And she's incredibly brilliant. She brings so much research and empowerment to the spaces. So I know that as a deliberative facilitator, she's going to enrich conversations and help people learn as they navigate those tough problems. So Astral, thank you so much. I think you're going to be an incredible deliberative facilitator. And look at all of these emojis for you. I'm so excited to celebrate you.
Yay.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, look at that. Confetti. So neat. And then the next one.
Carl.
The next one's Carl, if you want to come up here for me. All right, so Carl is our next one to celebrate. Emojis and everything. I would say that you, Carl, bring with it a certain pace. I think that is actually quite indicative. You bring with your facilitation a certain pace that allows for individuals to slow down and turn opinions into considerations, turn drawbacks and advantages for different things into their own kind of speed. So it's a stop and smell the flowers kind of thing, which is necessary for democracy. And I think you show that. You show consideration and you show the deliberation side of facilitation. So thank you so much for being a part of the course. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, sure. So I think in a lot of ways, I'm gonna try to be kind of metaphorical here. I think I've been on the internet a long time, and it just kind of, maybe like I've been in the jungle and just, I'm often finding, the things. You gotta bark at me right as I'm start talking, huh? My dog wants out. He'll have to wait. But yeah, I'm always encountering, streams or rivers, problems that need bridging of some sort. And I've always kind of figured out a way to make do, whether that was wading across or building a makeshift bridge, with the best I could. But I feel like Venya and Aya came around and kind of, we're like, we've got tools for this sort of thing. Like there's practices, there's help, so finding that structure, that language, and that kind of descriptions of things has been beautiful. So glad to have been a part of it.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you so much, Carl. And more emojis, more celebrations.
Yeah.
Wonderful. If you're joining us online or you're streaming, please feel free to toss some emojis into the comments of the stream. Otherwise, thank you all so much. George, if you want to do me a favor and come up.
Yay, George.
Wonderful. George. Celebrations, emojis. Yeah. I would like to say about your facilitation style, George, that you make wicked problems feel less like challenges that a community faces and more like the next step, the next iteration, the next move. And you get people excited to solve those problems and those issues.
Yeah.
You're always in each other's court. You're ready. You're willing to have those conversations. And I think in a lot of ways, it creates a certain levity in the room. that allows for deliberative facilitation to pursue great, really enticing, completely new, never thought of before ideas. So thank you so much for being such a powerful, emotional, and motivational feature for your communities. I know that as a deliberative facilitator, you're going to go on to do really great, very exciting things. And I'm just really happy to have you as a part of the course. And afterward as a part of Bridgemakers and as a friend. So thank you.
I have one thing to say.
Oh.
George danced his way through class to some degree. And if you ever thought I couldn't dance and learn at the same time, you have George. It worked. And it added a whole other layer to he listens with his body. He's like on his feet. When George gets still, you know he's learning something really deeply or he's glitched out because he's always moving, unless he's on desktop. That's the other possibility. I think you're on desktop right now. This is not normal
that
George
is correct.
behavior. Yes. Okay. So,
do you have anything you want to say?
Yes, my heart is beating at like 120
Oh.
BPM, but I
They
thrive
them,
under
they them.
pressure, everybody. I thrive under pressure.
Thank you.
You're they
What I
them.
appreciate
Okay.
a lot is the pain points and the mess. It was kind of a messy experience, and the way we worked through that and grew through that has been amazing and almost overwhelmingly amazing. And I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate that. And you all.
Oh. Yay. Yeah, thank you for naming the
So-
mess.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Go, George.
More celebrations for George. Yay! I'm so very happy with our students. Especially Lau, if you wouldn't mind coming up for me. Lau,
No, I'm joking.
you... Oh. Yeah. Celebrations, emojis. I love the roses. The roses are amazing.
They are.
I kind of want those now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, celebrations. Lau, as a teacher, as any form of teacher, one of my favorite things is to see that information that I am giving is not just being absorbed, and it's not just being used, and it's not just being leveraged. It's being embodied. It's really helping someone find something that they love doing. And your appreciation for emceeing, you stepping up in street epistemology, you really owning this idea of deliberative facilitation and helping people solve tough problems. Seeing you flourish has meant so very much to me. So as a student of deliberative facilitation, I hope that you'll go out into the world and create a whole bunch of events that are well attended and fantastic and help create better virtual and even physical worlds. I think you've really embodied what this class was intending to do, and I just greatly appreciate that.
Yay.
Yeah. Do you have anything you would like to say?
I would like to say I am very glad that I actually participated in this course. Even though I am facing a lot of time zone issue, it's like every time it's like 6 a.m. in the morning, but I feel like it's worth it. It's valuable. It's a valuable lesson, and I have learned a lot. Not just learn, but also apply. So it has been a journey. I like my classmates. Everyone is wonderful. There's just no regret. I really love it. Thank you, Vania.
So great to hear.
Yay.
Woo! And more
Go
emojis. More celebrations. Money. Yeah. I love the money. That was amazing. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much. And now, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, Mary, if you wouldn't mind coming up here. Thank you. Right there. Wonderful. Yeah, celebrations for Mary.
Woo, Mary.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So I think we've talked rather a lot privately about what the course is looking like, what it really means for you at Bridgemakers. We've talked quite a lot about the logistics of these courses and where Bridgemakers is going. And I think that for you, deliberative facilitation became second nature very, very fast in a lot of ways. You just do it. It's just a natural inclination that you have to say, hey, this is a tough issue, and I'm not going to try and solve this immediately. I'm going to bring it to everyone involved. You do it just so naturally, like a fish in water. That having been said, I've also seen that there's this powerful growth that I've seen in you since we've started the course. I don't want to claim that that's entirely the course because I really don't think it is, but I just see you growing as a professional. And I like to think that the facilitative course had a small hand in that because I see you already solving wicked problems and thinking about everyone else's grumpy gear every time we interact. So thank you for being you. Thank you for that growth. And I'm really proud to think that Bridgemakers is a part of it.
Oh, you killed Mary. That's how all good moments
the famous
end.
death animation.
Yes, exactly. Oh,
I gotta do it.
And do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, just one thing. You know that feeling when you have like a lot of anxiety and then you take a moment to take a deep breath? That's kind of what this feels like for me, but for community rather than anxiety.
That's a really nice way to put it. Yeah, that deliberative facilitation is a practice of tolerating the ambiguity and helping people connect a little better with different frames, different formats. So that's such a good way to embody what you're getting deeper at. Thank you, Mary. Yay! Yay, Mary! Woo!
Great. So now what I would like you to do, I'd like all of the students, please, if you would, to just line up along the steps over here on my right. I'd like all of you to just line up here. And if you're not a part of the class, I'd like you to be over here on these stairs.
Okay.
And go ahead and face everyone. There we go. Wonderful. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and make this into a ritual, into a ceremony. Now, one thing that we did not cover in the facilitated course is the most important thing in community, and that's ritual. It's practice. It's celebrating each other, not just by saying kind words, but also by giving people a passage of time, a moment that they can consider. Terribly sorry. A moment that they can consider a memory that moves them from one place, a before state as students and members of Bridgemakers, to another one of storied experts. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and award you, and I'd like you to come up these stairs and return to your seat with the celebrations and the emojis showered over you. Can all of you do that for the students?
Okay,
great.
Get your emoji
Thank
on.
you so much.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I don't exactly have a handshake emoji, but we're going to pretend that it does happen. Mary, if you wouldn't mind coming up for me. Congratulations. You're officially a deliberative facilitator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on.
He's going to
There you
dance
are,
his way up.
passage of time. And go ahead and add yourself to the back of the line there. To the back of the line. Great. Perfect. And Lau, if you wouldn't mind coming up here.
Hey, Lau.
Congratulations, Lau.
Yeah.
You are officially a deliberative facilitator. Take a breath.
Yeah.
Go enjoy.
You earned this.
Yeah.
Go Lau.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Great
need
job.
music. Yeah.
And Carl, if you can come up here.
Carl.
Carl,
Yay.
congratulations. You are, I dub thee, an official deliberative facilitator.
Come on through our parade and join us. Yay, Carl.
Yeah.
So good.
George, if you want to dance on up. I know you're on desktop. That probably hurts.
Oh, backflip. Nice.
A backflip. Yeah. Congratulations, George. You are a deliberative facilitator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on
And
through,
my heart beats down
George.
to about 100 BPM now. And it's going up again. It's going up again. It's going up again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Like,
last but certainly not least, I am
Armani.
very proud to bring Armani up here
Yay.
with that
Aw.
slow walk. Like
Go on,
swagger.
Armani.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
You are
Armani.
officially, I dubbed thee, a deliberative facilitator.
Oh, come on
You
through.
are.
Join us.
High
Now
fives,
don't
high
move
fives.
yet, everyone.
High
Get the
fives.
celebration.
Woo!
Celebrate Armani.
Yeah.
High fives, claps, handshakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Now don't
yay.
move because there's one more person to celebrate. There's another
Uh-oh.
really, really
Woo.
important person that we need to
Uh-oh.
celebrate today. So hey,
Venya.
you, if you
Oh.
wouldn't mind coming up here.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we did not create deliberative facilitation as a thing in a vacuum. It's been 6 months of us working on this and building it and doing everything that we possibly can to make it work. And all of that work on the logistical side to make bridge makers happen. All of that work to help teach and co-facilitate and help me wrangle all of this together has come from Heyu.
Wow.
So I just want to say thank you so much for the tech, for the development. You have no idea how much I appreciate you for keeping me in Bridgemakers, allowing this class to happen, and for seeing it through to the end. And I also want to say, Heyu is going to be the teacher for our second course on support facilitation, which is going to be upcoming. And with all of that, you have now created, with course number 1, the start to not just one bridge, but several bridges, multiple bridges. And you've created right there along that line a whole bunch of people who celebrate you creating change as a result of your work. So go enjoy your emojis. Thank you so much for being an amazing co-facilitator.
Oh, such a beautiful emoji bridge. Oh, now we all got to pull Venya down, and it's a conga line. All right, Venya, thank you for being our fearless leader that pushed, even though I would have quit twice at least during this course because the tech was sucky. Yay! Oh, we did so much.
Oh,
thank you, everybody.
So much.
Yeah. That was quite a ceremony. Let's come back to our seats. It's all down here from here. Now we're going to go from celebration to we all messed up, especially me. But, you know, it's a process. We get to keep learning. And yeah, that was quite the challenging course. Hopefully the second will be good. It's not frozen for me. Does everybody see the next slide? Social media team?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Cool. All right. Oh, I'm talking about this. Okay. Yeah. So you got to see some really fun stuff here, whether you have been here before or this is your first time. It's all made possible. Bridgemakers is intended to be a cooperative incubator, and that is a made-up word. I have never heard that before, Bridgemakers, but it's what I came up with to say my goal is to work myself out of a job and to make this something that is not just an infinite movement for social VR, but also a movement for humans and using VR as a way to upgrade ourselves. I have a plan, and Bridgemakers is part of that. And so the beginning journey to lean into not just bridge walking or bridge recovering, right? A lot of people come here to recover from their own broken bridges, but to actually move into the build portion is to be a helper. And so this is one of the areas we need help in. We happen to be a really amazing, deep, rich, some of the best people you're ever going to meet team, but social media is a tough one for us. And so Armani has brilliantly stepped up to help us organize that, but we need more team members. And if you know anybody or are interested in growing your marketing and social media skills, all the way from video editing to creating really fun little graphics, emojis, all that, that's what we're really hurting for right now. People don't know about us. And so please think about that. And thank you to the team that is working on it. We have some video editors still with Lau and Theo, and we meet every week to just see how we can move the envelope forward a little bit more. So you can see some different examples of what our marketing looks like. And really what we're just trying to do is take all this amazing content and break it into the bite-sized pieces so the rest of the world can see what we're doing and why this is maybe quirky, but also brilliant. And without that breaking it down, then it's just these really long 2-hour videos, and not everybody's going to weather that to be drawn in. So that's our little plug for Help Wanted. And there might be one more slide about that. Let's keep going. Yeah, Lau, your turn.
It's my turn. Okay. Do I have to keep looking at that like you guys? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta hold your hands up as you talk.
Okay. So as you can see, we are really short in helper, and I will talk about how I became a helper, right? And let me check. Yep, and what I do as a helper, if that's correct. Okay, so how I became a helper is I went to a lot of SSE and I finally decided to go into the whole helper process, which lasts for 3 months. This is a really long. It's not like a suffering, but it's more of like a learning process. You're kind of like putting your feet into the side of the pond, not directly going to swimming, but you're just trying the temperature, your comfort, your like, maybe the water is comfy or not. So for me, I went through half of it or more than half of it now. I'm going for a walkabout soon. Okay. So what do you do as a helper? You can do a lot of stuff. You can help in the social media team, as mentioned just now, or video editing, facilitate, or a lot more. Can be as flexible as you want. Well, I would say the first month is more about exploring which role you're gonna be in, like which role you wanna be. For myself, I've been editing the appreciation videos, and I've been helping in facilitating. Well, that's one part of the class, but also I've been actively helping. What more should I talk about?
Yeah,
I think, we could take a moment to appreciate Lau.
Lau is going to have a appreciation video for graduating from Helper 1 next month, but he'll be finishing up his Helper 1 cycle in about another week or two. And Lau has been just so much care and empathy and vibrance to the helper process, including helping us understand where the barriers were that were keeping maybe people from feeling like they understood what they were doing as a helper. So everybody that comes in makes the journey and the bridge better for the next person. And Lau has definitely embodied that. If you could give yourself, Lau, any advice going back to the first, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to actually rest more. That's one thing that I figured out because I grew with them. I just realized I need a lot of rest. But also, we need to take our tempo. We need to take it in our own tempo, in our own pace. So not everyone has the same tempo. I had it like really fast, but I slowed down in the middle of the pace. But the other also had some troubles when they are going through the helper one. They graduated though, so some of the helper 2 year they graduated in a different phase than mine. I really like the work. As Heo mentioned, like I've been pointing out some boundary, but also like I really still like how the work. Can I say work? The environment, the atmosphere, the vibe. I really liked it. I really enjoyed working with them, and I appreciate them giving me such a wonderful experience and growing chances.
Thank you, Lau. Yep, we have at least one, often most weeks 2 helpers meetups per week where we check in with helpers and just support projects and get people collaborating. So you're not just doing like free work, you're actually like getting invested in by our Bridgemakers crew, and it gives you access to some of our advisors and our subject matter experts that you might not normally even know exist. So thank you, Lau. Really beautiful, honest endorsement of being a helper. So if you know anybody that you think, wow, they really need to get involved with something and it'll be good for them, go ahead and let them know, come our direction. Yay. All right, Lau. Now it's Theo's turn. Woo.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. Yeah.
So sorry about that. So Bridgemakers always having wonderful events that we'd love to have everyone RSVP and come by for. We have Thursdays for this week. We have Scott, who's going to be doing Love Letters to Firefly. That is a TV series that will be having a world event to replicate sort of the essence of the Firefly show that has a lot of expanding connection with community in dark places and allowing for many challenges of events and situations from the world building that they made. Believe was with Scott, and I don't remember the other name.
Fuzz and Scott.
Fuzz and Scott, yes. So wonderful to have them host for this Thursday. Be sure to check out. On Friday, we have...
Yeah, sorry, not this Thursday. So next Sunday is the first event, which is going to be the watch party, and then the following Thursday is when the Love Letters to Firefly will start.
Right, okay. Gotcha. So Friday, then I'll be talking about the casual or common events, which is Fridays at 1 p.m. PST are Games and Connect on Discord. Jay usually hosts it, and we have usually an event where we talk about video games, or we have events hosted with video games. It's a very casual and appealing event. It's very lovely. Jay and everyone there that comes by always having a wonderful time with one another in conversations. Our community build-up is also later that day, where it's Heyu and Carl who host. Always a wonderful event, talking about norms, talking about community pain points and pain points in general, allowing the space to be heard where everyone gets to reflect and understand each other's human in a way. It's a very very tender and compassionate event that is always great to come by and allow to meet new people and be a part of Bridgemakers. So I highly recommend that. And Sundays, we have Street Epistemology with Heyu and Venya, which is an event where we take questions that are very peculiarly funny, peculiarly insightful, peculiarly philosophical, and we go and we discuss our views of each other, and then we allow ourselves to sort of see how those views can change us. And it is always a very open and vigorous and exciting event that always has new opportunities at every event. And of course, then the Fire Watch Party, which was mentioned before. So Firefly will be the TV series that the other event will be based off of.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Theo. Wonderful. Yeah.
Good job, Theo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we might have to skip the videos because we're pretty overtime. And we also did watch a video last week. But we do have some fun videos on our YouTube that advertise and explain the Firefly, including getting to watch me as a dinosaur have a conversation with a T-Rex that is Scott, and talk about how tiny dinosaurs can make a difference. But we also go through all the details of what the heck we're doing and why. So please watch it, share it. We've got room for our crew.
Maybe we repost this in news next week.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For wanting to participate in Firefly, I remember there being suggestions that it was ticketed as an event. Is that still the case?
At this point, we don't have the level of flow we were anticipating. There's a lot of Firefly communities online that we thought were going to be interested, and then we've realized they're more dormant communities. So right now we're looking. We can fill up to about 20 people, and we have maybe almost half of that filled up. But yeah, no tickets. Just sign up on our sesh event on Discord, and it's visible to everybody now. So you should just be able to see it.
Sweet, awesome. I will see if I can invite some people.
Yeah, please. It's gonna be so fun. Can everybody hear the dog barking outside my window?
Slightly.
Yep.
Okay, I'll mute
myself.
myself.
Sad that I can't.
Oh, don't be sad. Not great. Sounds like a very ungrounded, frenetic, tiny dog. So it's yappy, you know. Okay. So now more, I know you're just getting lots of announcements, but this is the once a month thing where we get to tell you what we're up to. So if you would like to learn about how do we have empathy and support each other when people are going through hard stuff, that's kind of my area. So this is going to be the precursor free workshop where you can upskill your empathy skills and learn what does it mean to not just have empathy, but also balance group needs, right? Because just because one person's having an especially hard time doesn't mean we can slow all the way down to accommodate that. We have to learn how to set the containers so everybody gets a little more healing than when they arrived, but also not pretend that we're therapists and not pretend that we can fix everything. So this is, you can sign up on the Socially Constructed site for this. It's totally free, and you'll get a little sample of the course that's going to be coming up after that. So next slide. I'm going to give you a little sneak preview if any hasn't even seen this. Literally threw it together right before our event today. Well, the slide, but I've been working on the material for quite a while. But yeah, let's go to the next one. So you're going to basically see some of the materials we're going to be working with, hopefully in a much more I'm very interactive in how I like to teach, and I happen to be somehow randomly upgrading for the first time in years with my technical skills. So I am world building now. So it's possible that some of these environments are not grown yet, but you will have actual worlds created to learn how to do this. So this slide is just basically showing us, you know, on the left, some of you maybe have seen this. This is my life's work. It's called the DOT model. It helps us kind of have a compass when we're disoriented and our heart rate's going up and we hate conflict and we want to run away from it or just blow it all up. But on the right-hand side, these are cards that have been developed over time of like, if I'm feeling like a villain, maybe these are some of my core beliefs. These are the things I say to myself. And on the right-hand side, we've got the new name for the villain. When you learn the emotional fluency and the DOT model, you start to realize that just because somebody may or may not agree that they're the villain doesn't mean they're not a challenger for us. That's really always going to be true. Sometimes challenging too much. They don't know how to give us the bite-sized pieces to succeed. So on the left side, you have each of these statements, and you have a rewired statement on the right side. And then there's space for you to write your own. But these will be kinds of things that we're going to practice as a culture together when we feel like a victim or a target or a bystander. How do we not just address the feelings, but address the thoughts that are happening that can reinforce the feelings and get us more stuck in those extreme places where we feel like a sense of fate is happening, but we know it's all just going to break apart and go badly. How do we stay present? So you're going to see me apologize to one of you for being the villain and do some amends next or soon. Let's go to the next slide. Just giving you a little preview. Who here is excited to come to the workshop and we'll make it work? It's free. It's 2 hours. Got one. Me emojis. Yeah. It's going to be pretty fun. We also have a world specifically on the dot model. So we'll probably go there and play some games in there. You get to all play the villains and victims and heroes and bystanders. But this is going to lead to this class, which is going to start in October. It's about 2 months. And very much like the civil discourse class, it's going to be by donation with a minimum. I think we had it at $10 last time, but it's a really good value for not much money. The money is more about putting that good faith, and you can donate more if you'd like. You can see a very blurry image of the dot model back there, but we're going to be learning things like how do we build the actual mechanics of a support group? How do we stay safe and recognize when we're out of our depths? And how do we set that up to help other people help us? And yeah, it will remain affordable, as Venia said. Exactly. And then we'll be diving much deeper into why do our communities ban and block as the only way to handle stressful things? How many here are in communities with vent channels where people just kind of dump? Anybody? Got 1, 2.
We had one, but
3.
it was retired.
Yes. So what a lot of communities do is they're like, wow, there's a lot of drama just showing up in the general channel. So we're going to give it a space to live. And then that space turns like a mosh pit of agony. And so then they're like, now let's delete that channel. And this is what I've seen so many community systems do. And so the 3 graces journey of approaching conflict and drama, but also how do we help people return and proactively build the muscles to have those hard conversations is what we're going to be learning a little bit about. So a lot of practical pieces that have been developed over the last few years. Let's go to the next slide. I know there's a lot of words on the screen, so but we're going to talk about this a little bit more today by zooming in and saying, how do we just, starting with a one-on-one relationship, instead of thinking about it just for, I messed up with my stinky mosh pits, right? Maybe we think, I messed up with my community and I feel so overwhelmed about that, but maybe I just need to go make amends with one person and start there and narrow it down. So before we jump into the next slide, I'm going to give you a little preface before we go to the world and we can practice this. How do we clean it up when we mess up? What are the ingredients to do or not do when we clean it up? This is a participation moment. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Let's see. You're all thinking deeply. Yeah, Mary. What are ingredients?
You can start by owning the mistake.
Yeah, saying, hey, I messed up. That's a really important one. Sometimes we miss that. Believe it or not, that is not always remembered to do. Sometimes we're just like, hey, did that hurt you? But we don't say, I did something harmful. Yeah. And George, I see you typing. What do you need? Exactly. So do we ask the other person, hey, I broke a bridge with you. What do you need to mend that bridge? Yeah. And what did you need when I broke that bridge? If I wasn't actually harming our connection, what should have been there in place? Accountability. Yeah, allows typing. Exactly. And so these are pieces that I don't know about you, but sometimes when I've messed up, I feel like the ground drops out from underneath me and I'm just in this swampy, sloshy. It's like going into one of those outhouses a little bit, but there's no lid and just the sense that like, oh no, I fell in. And now I have to climb out of that. And the practice of feeling the stink, feeling like it's my fault, and starting to get out of it and come back and say, do you all literally have pitchforks and you're coming after me? No? Okay, then that means there's room for amends. And Benny is saying there's often being radical in our candor to ensure we are confident and brave enough to say things, but careful enough to do so productively. Right. Because sometimes my guilt could make me overcompensate. And maybe I'm going to pick on you, George, for a moment. Maybe I told George that I was going to get back to him about something. Actually, I think I did tell you I was going to get back to you about something. And I didn't yet. And so part of it is not falling all over myself and being like, I've ruined your life, George. I didn't get back to you. And I know you're probably really doubting me now, but, that's me kind of throwing way too, and yeah, he's saying, they're saying, I forgot it. Oops. And so that's also there. And I can still say, well, I wish I hadn't forgotten it. And I'm glad to remember it right now as an accidental example, but actual true example. I still need to get back to George on something. So there are all kinds of ways that if we don't practice these steps playfully and frequently, we start to forget how to get out of the swamp and come back into a relationship where we can dance with each other without being afraid it's going to fall through. All right, next slide. So I'm going to show you a map. This is a little map into Heiyu's mind. Some of you have seen pieces to this. Do not feel like you have to memorize all of it. And technically, it's so blurry, you probably can't even read it. But we're going to zoom in on a tiny part of this map. Some of you know that I did something called the Troll Project before. I was asking the question, how do we take disruptors who are trying to break the bridge actively in a variety of ways for a variety of reasons? And what is their pathway where they actually find community and belong, even if it's to a troll group? It doesn't mean it's not community. It maybe could be harmful, toxic community, but eventually some of these people make it into that circle. And so, yeah, you can stay on this one. So zooming in, what we're going to start doing in Bridge Makers once a month, starting this month, is on one of our Friday night weekly check-ins every 4 weeks. We're going to have something called Wisdom Circles. And the cards we're going to be playing with today at the fireside are one of the exercises we will do, which is just basically using the amends steps that you can see up there to ask ourselves some questions and check on our pulses of, did I do that? Have I ever done that around harm that I caused? And if I haven't, how many relationships might have loose screws in their bridges, so to speak, because I didn't repair and I thought I had? And so the wisdom circles will include things like town halls. Thank you. Shout out to Nikki for reminding me about that. Town halls are going to be just like hey, let's all talk very pragmatically about what about the structure is not working and how we can do better and where we should be putting our resources better. There will also be moments of emotional fluency practice. How many places in your life do you ever have people that say, it's okay to say how you feel, whatever it is, that is welcome here. And it's not going to take over the space. You get to practice saying the uncomfortable things and then keep going. And then we're going to be doing things like these cards. So today we will illustrate that. And then we're going to go to a world and you can pick up a card and practice this with us. So next slide, please. Amends is an acronym. So these are some sample questions that you're going to see, about 5 different questions per letter. And I just randomly picked these, literally last minute. I didn't even read them. So you're going to see me make all this up in front of you. Who would like to, first of all, change your avatar to something you don't normally wear and be the person that I'm making amends to? If you would be willing to come down here, and I will do my darndest in answering these questions. You get to see somebody go for it. Looks like Mary turned into a, whoa, vampire bat. Ooh, we have a line. Everybody wants to be apologized to. I like it. Let's see. We're going to have a battle off. Who we got here? who is in oh, you're both on desktop. Oh, you've got the golden fish. I'm sorry, Mary. I'm going to pick the golden fish. George knew what to do here. Come on up, George. Mwahaha. The revelation. Okay. Wait, shouldn't you be making amends to me? No, I'm kidding. All right, so I gotta work on this because I don't feel like making amends to the golden fish, but George and I have actually had some exchanges around this, and specifically wearing these avatars. So this is an interesting moment. I'm gonna find a way that I've still done harm. So give me a moment. Okay. Actually, this kind of happened. So we're going to go for this. All right. So what exactly did I do? No excuses, just facts and observable behavior. This is actually real. So you get to see a bit of an apology. So George, when you and I probably had only ever interacted for less than 30 seconds before, you came into a world before everybody else got there in a fish avatar. Do you remember that moment?
That fish avatar is gone.
Ooh, yes. So he was wearing a fish avatar, and it was during a week of a lot of fish related stuff. And I was feeling a little overstimulated by this symbol that I have some concerns about and have done a lot of deep research around. And so I approached you very directly and could have been perceived as a bit assertive or aggressive in saying, what's your choice behind your avatar? Now, you stood there in your dancing self and said, what? And I think you're actually in a cheese avatar, which is connected to the fish. But I was doubting you in my body language instead of giving you a newbie in our space the benefit of the doubt. I had suspicion. I had some kind of like looking down on you. You were actually quite smaller than me. And so I think that those behaviors should have technically made you go away. That wasn't the intention, but I was really surprised that you kind of danced around and just stayed curious and played there with me. And I also worried a little bit later on that maybe I had come on too strong. And so those are the actual details that anybody could have seen if they were there. And part of how I know that I don't like that I did that is I realized that if somebody had come in, I would have felt like I needed to get a little smaller. And so that makes me realize I was taking up a little too much space, especially in a position of a leader in a new group for you. And so now my M question, map the impact. What feelings might they have experienced, even if they... So I imagine that was shocking for you. Probably, as we've heard today, heart rate maybe went up, and you might have felt some guilt and some confusion. You were really celebrating the avatar you were in, and you got targeted for that. And that might have made you really doubt wearing that, especially in Bridgemakers spaces, which I did ask you to consider not until obviously this moment. Very clever of you. And so does any of that ring true? Did you kind of feel a little thrown by that?
I did feel like you gave me some benefit of the doubt, and I felt the same way. Like I knew that was the way to build a bridge.
Oh.
And I knew you were coming from a place of care, genuine care for the community and for me as a new participant.
Yeah, thank you. That's really good to hear that came across. And I could have been maybe just a little softer and definitely gotten more down on your level is what I kind of wish I'd done. So what blind spot or reaction pattern am I beginning to see? Sometimes when I'm passionate about things, I don't slow that velocity down to realize that my passion could come across as really judgmental, kind of putting my hands on my hips. And especially when that's true and I'm in a leader position, that could be really damaging for some people. And so I'm starting to see a pattern where just because I feel enthusiastic doesn't mean that that's actually healing. If not, it can be harmful sometimes. And you kind of walked into that one without even meaning to. What might you...
I do want to share.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I do want to share a mantra that's been helpful for me with situations that could be confusing like that. Values transcend identity.
Wow, that feels like a shout out to civil discourse and bridgemakers. Yeah, values transcend identity. Yes, and I felt a dance in you almost immediately where you wobbled a bit, but you were making a dance out of it, and you're like, I'm thinking about this. I didn't know some of these pieces before, and I'm going to be careful here because I don't want to spread a message that I'm not aware about. And so I think our values of communicating with our bodies, what we care about and what we want to put into the world made you question a bit what you were wearing at the time. And I appreciated that yield. That was really lovely. And what might you need from me and from others? I wonder if because you have that body dancing piece and you look so playful all the time, it might be harder sometimes for people to recognize that you can get hurt and you might need more care sometimes in seeing that as vulnerability as opposed to just being playful and recognizing that being in your body around people in these spaces can also make you get hurt at times if people are really forward and pushing towards you. So that's just an idea of maybe what I wasn't meeting a need there because you seem so available to have that conversation. So, who is supporting me in making these changes real? You know, since that moment, I have talked to more people, and specifically outside of VR chat about my concerns about this symbol and what it might be doing. And I think getting some reality checks there and really thinking about it from different angles of like, if it wasn't bad or good, and there was a mix of both, what is my role with that as a community leader, as a professional in XR, as an activist? And so I think that I've had to get a little bit more curious and accepting that I can't feel certain here, and just keep being a social scientist and learning when I see these avatars what it means for you first before I tell you what it means for me. And so then, how am I staying accountable even if the door doesn't reopen? Like, let's say that, you weren't coming back to Bridgemakers. And so my accountability might be that I ask other leaders or helpers to be there with me to open and close events so that I make sure that I have somebody there to witness and maybe even buffer moments where I'm trying to set the container and I'm in go mode and I'm kind of organizing people, but it might not be feeling kind or welcoming. So having more help to be accountable there, that we're emulating that gentle, welcoming presence that helps newbies like ground. That's a way that I can be accountable so that I don't do that again with somebody else coming in with a fish avatar. So this is good practice for me that you're standing there. And also, I still have concerns about the fish symbol. And I appreciate that you heard me and you haven't worn these avatars since. So yeah, that's the amends process. Let's I'll give George some emojis for listening to my apology and leaning into this because that was actually not made up. And how was that for you, George, to have that amends journey?
That was awesome. That was like legit amends, great example. And there was, I guess, it helped clean up what itty bitty pain points were left.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about this. It's kind of lingered, just like outside of my mind a little bit. And I've always thought, wow, I almost eliminated somebody in my mind who turned out to be George because of an avatar. And I wouldn't have banned you or anything else, but I might have just kind of decided that you weren't really here to participate. And that kind of body language could have turned you off and turned you away. And so I was pretty overwhelmed at that moment, but I still leaned in to try to have an awkward conversation and see if you'd stick around to figure out what it meant. And you did. And so mostly I hold that moment with just awe at how easy it is to erase people in our minds. And specifically these kinds of processes made me slow down and not just write you off, even if it was just invisible and quiet. So yeah, I'm grateful for you.
I'm glad you passed my unintentional test.
Oh,
You get an A plus plus.
yay! Yay! What a cool actual real life example for us to do. And I'm glad you came up here. Yeah. So now you all understand what the process is. The last workshop we did a mix of things, but we're going to keep it really simple today. And you probably aren't even going to work through all the questions. You're just going to pick one up in this world and you're going to discuss it with a paired person. And then we're going to see what you learned by kind of picking a thing to talk about that maybe you can make up about what somebody else is wearing, or if you want to take a real problem and work through it a little bit, my request is do not say who you're talking about. As much as possible, leave the details of who they are out. Sometimes those feel really relevant, but after having done processes like this for 20 plus years, you'd be surprised at how much they aren't many times. There's emotional content around who they are to us, but we can work through a lot without giving those specifics. So, yeah, let's move to the next slide. I think we're pretty close to doing our picture and jumping. What is our time? Wow. We might not get through very
we
much
got
of
about
this.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, went to, where are we?
We'll just continue like this. I accidentally pressed escape.
It's okay. You can select just the final one and we'll grab our photo and then we'll drop a portal and we'll do the last part of our journey today, which will be really interesting with our time left.
I do want to say ahead of everything, unfortunately, like I would love to participate in the amends situation, but I actually have to go look at an apartment.
Oh, yeah, you got living stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
I
Well,
gotta
let's
go
get
do
a
a thing.
photo and then I will drop a portal and whoever comes. It's a really cool world. All right. Mary, you should be able to still hit present and then the image will be, yeah, there you go. Cool. All right. So, from what we've learned so far, for those of you who have been here today, this is a moment where we spontaneously cue the audience. Come on up here and tell us what is the word for the day? What do we feel like summarizes what we're learning? You all shout it out at once and we'll pick one.
Amends.
Amends. Okay. I like that one. What else?
Immense amends.
Immense amends. Ooh. That's brave. I like that. All
There's
right.
also congratulations.
Congratulations and amends. What a paradox of beautiful bridge makers things. All right, let's do emojis. And then we're going to grab a photo. Shout out to all of our helpers who's helping make this possible. Yay! And then let's all wish our leader, Venya, good luck on her apartment hunting. She is off to scramble to find a space because things have gone wrong. And
Good luck, Venya.
Yeah, so glad that
Thanks.
you came for this part and helped us all graduate. Okay, so next world is queuing up. Let's see here. And shout out to Scott for modifying this world and helping it work, even though he couldn't even be here today. This is a world that was used for our summit and was copied and now is this process. So let's all hop in. Join us. Yay.
I'll wait to see if my friend comes back.
Okay, cool. Well, he can also come to the next Bridgemakers instance. It's another instance. Oops. All right.
Ooh, I like this.
Yay. So it's going to take a little bit of time for these cards to load. So let's just let them cook. And I know they're grabbable and it's tempting, but let's all just circle around the fire for just a moment.
Yay.
We're going to have to do a hybrid of this. But yeah, I like places where I can settle and feel myself grounding. Oh, you haven't been here, Nikki. This is really fun world. It has even a little trick to it as we do this exercise. All right. So once we have all circled around, we will come back and read the cards in a little bit. You do not have to find yours now. First, we're just going to check in about making.
I was so confused.
I think Kay might be muted.
I was muted. I apologize. Yeah, I was like,
good.
why aren't they listening to me? It's like this world is bugged. Okay, I was saying that the cards are going to take a couple minutes to load, so you can leave them there and just circle up for a moment. And before we try to dive into this, even if it's silly and kind of fun, let's just check in about one concern or question that you might have about making amends, and what, like, even fears or excitement, like what is coming up for you. Let's get ourselves here before we try to learn something. So starting with Theo or George.
Yeah. I guess that's my cue.
Sure.
Silence to fill. I guess grounding oneself before making amends, or knowing how to review what the other, even if you don't know what the other person needs, we might need to prepare ourselves to try.
Yeah. So I like that. There's grounding, but also making space inside to be able to take new information in, especially when I'm the one that messed up. There's this part of me that feels like I have something heavy inside, and I just have to bring it and let it out. But when I'm making amends, I actually need to do some of that work, maybe with somebody else, so I can come and be open and curious and ready to receive if there's anything to learn, so that I'm addressing the wound as I'm naming it, and not just being like, okay, sorry, I'll be back, and then I'll be curious next time. So how do I get my feet in the ground enough to get ready for a storm? Maybe to hear some hard things that I wasn't even expecting on how I affected somebody else. Yeah. Thank you. What about you, Mary?
Can you, I was kind of busy checking to make sure the stream ended and stuff. So could you repeat the prompt?
Oh, the stream still should be going, actually. But the prompt...
yeah, it is.
My presentation stream.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. The prompt is, what are you curious about or concerned about around making amends?
Right, okay. So there's kind of two different states for me. One is where I don't feel responsible, and the other is when I do feel responsible, and they carry very different emotions with them.
Yeah.
And so I think that, to me, is the first thing I need to acknowledge, is what I'm feeling, and to then center myself in that my first step is not really about me explaining or anything like that. It's about acknowledging their side of things, or reflecting their side of things.
I love that. Yeah. So there might be pain between me and somebody, but how much I think I actually caused that pain versus I walked into it, or I didn't know it was there, or it was way bigger than I imagined. Like, I might not feel like I really broke the bridge, but I still know there's pain there. And so I need to get clear about what I really feel and think my part is, even though I know that person might be like, you threw a grenade and blew everything up. And I know I didn't throw a grenade, but I get to hear that that's their experience. And it takes some grounding and practice to make space for that. Thank you, Mary. Armani, what about you?
Mine's more related to the get to the preparation part, kind of referring to your part, George. There, it's kind of like for me, I'm used to proceeding and more along the lines of fixing. Then there's some sort of preparation before you do this, and I would say it's kind of a concern, at least for me, but I'm more of what's the word? It's like you could say it's I'd say like a counter question to myself. It's like am I in the space, in like the best space to do this? Or am I more dissociated and just wanting to, just to get this done and proceed? So,
That's great. So the timing of my readiness to move through these steps. That's the hardest thing when I'm the one that messed up, because I feel like I should have run immediately over there and done that. But that rush to fix it can actually do a lot more harm. And so how do I stay with me enough to know how to step into that and know that I'll survive that process? The timing matters. Yeah. How do I get ready? Blurdette, you got so tiny. How are you? What is your curiosity
Good.
or concern?
About around making amends with someone.
Yeah.
I would say my two anxieties around making amends with someone would be, especially if I feel like I'm at fault, is am I going too deep? Like, am I thinking too deep about this whole dynamic? And am I gonna make it more complicated than it even needed to be? And then also, if this is something that I find that I've apologized for before, like how many times can I apologize and it still be felt as genuine if it's something that they're not seeing changing, even if I'm trying,
I hear you on that one. What if I've tried to build the bridge back and it keeps breaking and I just don't know when I should just stop trying to build the bridge back? When do I move away from it? Yeah.
Versus it just being like, or is it just me thinking too hard again and trying to isolate myself from the things that I'm finding uncomfortable?
Those are such good ones. Those are real worries that keep people from ever, like, I just want to say to all of you here, you are way further by bringing your avatar bodies up to this fire. You are way further in an amends journey than most people you will ever meet. This willingness to come sit here and have this conversation, most people can't do this. We lost a chunk of people even today on our way to this world, right? This is scary. And it can be this sense of like, will I solve these problems here in 15 minutes before, like it's just like, oh, this is so complicated. And I haven't had to face this or think about it most of my life. So why would I start now? I'm overwhelmed. So thank you, everybody, for being here and knowing that, one thing Bridgemakers does not promise is a fully functional, polished, perfect bridge that can be used everywhere at all times. We're gonna take a brick here or a card here today and just try one little piece and see if it gives us a new perspective. And just remembering that every question we answer, every time we try this and learn one more tool, makes that bridge a little stronger for the next time it's going to get hurt, because relationships hurt. That's the guarantee. It's what we do with the hurt that grows us or isolates us. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki. All right, Lau.
So, from my experience, I would like to think that what if the amends is not mutual? Like, if that something happened, there should be someone who you hurt or you got hurt. Well, what if my time paid doesn't get that done, doesn't get that mending goes, what if they didn't get the point? What if they are not, they just don't care, right? What if they are just too blinded to even look at me once again, even though I'm false?
Yeah. Wow. Such a deeper one. So one of the ways I hear that is, these days avatars are limited in here, but I figured out that I can make a bridge with my hands. So I do this all the time, if you've noticed that, right? So one of the things you're talking about is, so the bridge is broken. I know that I kind of messed it up, but they're gone. Or they're really in the ground and they are not interested. If they're going to put anything up, it's probably going to be a wall, right? And so how do I make amends with somebody who's just like, talk to the hand, or is going to use that to actually throw more things my way and be like, I have permission now to break your bridge even more. So it can be sticky and it can be heartless almost feeling to try to repair with somebody who has already written us off. And this immersive culture that we're in is very primed for those kinds of relationships. And so,
especially online, because
especially online,
one thing you can do, you can just block them and forget about them.
Exactly.
Right.
And there's encouragement to do that, and it's considered best practices in some places, and it really isn't. But from a punitive justice standpoint, the boundary setting when we've had violation seems like a good step, and it's not wrong. I don't want anybody to ever think I'm telling you to not block people. But I do want you to think about, what does it do to me inside when I block somebody and I don't ever do my own healing around that and I just move on? Did I use the pain of that moment to grow or to retreat and never return? And so, am I ready for another version of this instance? Maybe not with that person because they blocked me, or am I ready for the 2.0 of this? Because I didn't clean that one up. So the next time it's probably going to be a little harder. And what did I learn so I can try something different? Lovely. Theo.
So making amends is like thing that can be difficult is not knowing like I just feel like it goes back into itself because it's making like how you make amends to yourself in that way to recondition the self-critic or the condition of our perspective that hurts us all the time when it comes to the types of individuals that we invite within our lives, because of also what Lao says, where we take our hands out, or what you said, hey you, when we take our hands out to fix bridges and then people use that to turn against us, but then we have a problem of we condition the same behavior when people try to make amends with us, and it's not a frame of us accepting the amends, but us accepting the amends within ourselves. If we had to make amends within ourselves to the person that was first hurt in that first place, and perpetuates it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So there's a process that we can do with, if I violated somebody else's boundaries, space, safety, whatever, I first need to apologize to me. And that is my internal process of recognizing that violence coming through me, and violence is a loose term, right? I didn't hit anybody necessarily or whatever, but I pushed and I broke somebody's connection on some level. And that is a tool that happened through me. And so first I need to go clean up where that came from inside of me. And that can be its own kind of journey that we skip because we feel guilty and we want to fix it on the outside. But what do I want to say to I'm sorry about myself? Because sometimes when I violated somebody else's boundary, it's because I was running too hard because I wasn't holding my own boundaries with me. And so first the apology might be my own journey with a mirror. Different way to use mirrors in here. Thank you, Theo. All right, Carl, your turn.
Yeah, I'm really interested in just the kind of practicality of it all. We often come across these, as you said, the main go-to is just ban or tell people to block somebody if they're in conflict, and kind of would be really nice not just to have this sort of tool, but something that's in a way that isn't that's appealing to the people that are being offered it, not as like being shown homework or something.
Yeah. Which, these cards are the next step in that bite-sized piece, right? Someday I want worlds that are gamified. And when you've messed up, you're like, oh, I get to go play the I'm sorry game. And then you're going to go run through this obstacle course. And at the other end, you're going to get your little fortune. And that fortune is going to say, you answered questions by running these different directions. So one suggestion for you is try this thing with your amends journey. And you just played a game, but now you have a diagnostic suggestion on how to approach a hard moment. And maybe somebody else is going on their own game journey and they're going to meet you in the middle and figure out what to do there. There's all kinds of ways we can keep this going to where we learn without realizing we're learning, and then we heal. So, what an abundant circle some horror worlds do. That's true. There are some horror worlds in here that make us have to reflect on ourselves and how maybe we caused horror in others. New boss, says Lau. Yeah, exactly. Different boss levels, right? I mean, actually, I'm not going to go deep into this because we're going to need to wrap up here, but Bowser and all this idea of boss levels, right? There's this cartoonish vibe that's happening there that says Bowser is bad and we're good. And we don't know anything about Bowser. Like, Bowser could have a whole story to them that has been flattened into an image of who's the villain and who's the victim. And so the defeating with this journey is actually a yielding and building something new, more conscious. If we ever expect the world to have perfect boundaries and we're super clear on where all the boundaries are, we're going to live a pretty miserable life. So if we start with the premise, I'm going to violate your boundaries, you're going to violate my boundaries, and then we're going to figure out what those boundaries were, and we're going to set them more clearly and see if that works. And that those boundaries, which are kind of like walls, become the bridges as we learn how to synchronize those boundaries. So, yeah, it's a journey for sure. Instead of doing our really cool exercise that I had planned that we can still do maybe at our next wisdom circle, my invitation, if you don't have one already, even though I told you to leave them be, is to go grab a question card. And those are the cards with the least words. Just grab one. Do not read them. Just grab anything over there. And we're just going to go around one more time and read the question and say one thing it brings up for you, whatever it could be, even if it's a silly image. But if you walk away from today remembering just this question, we're going to see what that does in your life. Mary, did you get a card?
They're all blank for me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see anything on them.
Try rejoining the world. I've heard that helps, but this is good troubleshooting. I have to make amends to Mary. All right, we're going to start with Carl. Carl, what's your question say?
Right. What support do I need to stay in this work long term?
Yeah, what comes up for you there? That's a wild
honestly,
card.
I tried to grab one just randomly and just go with it, but I think that's pretty relevant to me in that I'm having some. I mean, I've always kind of had problem setting goals, but also now having scheduling issues, that can lead to a lot of questions needing answered as far as, who's going to pick up for things when I'm busy, or who can help offer those goals and tasks to do, those sort of things.
So there's a flavor of accountability that you're talking about there. I want to stay in the work, but I also need to know how we're organizing to do that. Does that fit?
Yeah.
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 Oh, Mary, is this a PC only thing? Is anybody else here just on
That's
PC?
what I'm suspecting.
George is. And George can see it.
Interesting.
Huh. So, Mary, maybe you could just think one of the questions, or find on the slide deck, there's those 6 up there, and just grab one of those as your version. And this is weird, but good to know. Very unique. So we're going to go to Theo next. Theo, what's your question?
Yeah, I finally had some time to think about this question because it was confusing me, but what need was I trying to meet when I acted this way? E.g., control, approval, clarity. So, I don't like to, don't always try to, go into those spaces of clarity or control, but I'm very approval. I'm a people pleaser kind of person, and so I always I always want to have my own space sometimes, because it gets really hard to actually identify against the fact that I've never been able to live with a family to and or friends to think about that they love me, and it becomes really difficult to I know a lot of people have that notion in it where it's hard to acknowledge yourself without having others acknowledge you, and that can be really hard for me, where I want to speak all the time, I want to say things all the time, but I know as well as that I have to hold space as well, as much as so that I can understand more about, rather than just that desire to be heard, or to not feel like I'm slipping out of my own name or my own person.
Really well put. Thank you for that. How do I stay with me and also know that I want you to see me? And that's hard. I want to check in with you all because I promised myself last time that I would be better about time boundaries. We're about 5 minutes over today, and I don't want to stress anybody here. So, is there anybody that has a hard stop right now, or your body is pulling you away? Because I think you should go next, and that'll be your checkout. You're hungry, but not starving. Oh, well, thank you, Lau. No,
Yeah, I am going to go ahead and check out myself. I already went, and my wife's tried talking to me a couple times, so
you got to take care of the family.
try not to push it too far.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye, Carl. What is HBU, George?
How about you?
How about you? Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking me. I'm okay. I think this is really rich and valuable, and you are all holding cards in your hand that have been built in blood to some degree. These cards have a lot of wisdom in them that have been growing over many years, and you're the first people to hold them and really sit with them. Okay, thank you, Mary. Well, you get to go next, so you get to check out by hopefully picking a card if you found them.
So the D in Amends, who's supporting me and making these changes real, kind of struck me, because I do have a few people who I talk to when I'm struggling with something along those lines, but I don't generally acknowledge that. And so that's something that has given me pause for thought about actually acknowledging it and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
sharing that.
vulnerable to tell people that they are our people, that they are on our list to reach out to, and not put a burden on them where they're like, oh, now I have to be on speed dial or whatever. But it's also honoring to say, you know, when I'm tangled and I'm confused, you're the person I think about reaching out to. And I just want to acknowledge that and thank you. And I might be doing that around conflict or amends a little bit more lately. And is that okay? So, yeah, thank you for leaning into that one. And you need to go sleep. So let's all wish Mary happy snoozes. Been working hard, especially today. Grateful to you.
Bye, Mary.
Good night, Mary.
Bye.
Enjoy your sleep.
Dreams of not amends, but happy things. And he's dead. Okay. So Mary's going to exit the whole community. He's just going to die and disappear. All right. Your turn, Blurdette. What question did you get?
I got what needs, e.g., safety, belonging, respect, might I have disrupted? My first instinct was to throw my card in the fire and go get another one.
Honest. I feel you.
I don't want to really think about what did I disrupt. What now? I disrupt nothing. Nothing. Always good intentions. Thinking harder, something that I have kind of noticed that I do, and I feel like, Theo, you were kind of touching on this a little bit, is like I notice that when I talk to people, I tend to, like, especially if I'm talking about something in the past, so something I'm remembering, or I'm imagining something in the future, I tend to lately, I really go into my head and I see the whole visual of the story I'm telling them in my head, to the point where I've started kind of like, I have to tell them all the details, like, and then I pick this up, and then I'll remember, like, oh, but before I picked this up, I did that. And then I realize, like, I'm trying to tell them a story, but instead of telling a story, I'm kind of just like recounting all of the things I saw in my head as I'm thinking about the thing, which is leaving me not in my body. Like, I realize I don't even really, I can't really see them. Like, they're in front of me, but I'm really looking at my thoughts that I'm talking to them about, rather than being in my body with them right now and trying to tell them a story that they can relate to. And so I end up telling them details that I don't need to tell them. And then I'm like, oh man, I just talked too much and I'm info dumping and all of that. Right. So I'm realizing that when I do that and I'm not in my body with them, that maybe I am disrupting the connection. And that by trying to be a little bit more mindful of when, oh gosh, I'm seeing the things in my head that I'm talking about more than I'm seeing the person in front of me that I'm talking to kind of just bring myself back into my body. And that will hopefully guide me to the story that I'm trying to tell them. And I don't need to like look at every, memory card in my head trying to get every detail right. And yeah, maybe that will help that connection grow stronger.
Wow.
It's so
maybe
poisoning too. It's so poisoning too. It's like you can't even like how to separate from something like that is like something life the journey is through your entire life. It becomes so difficult to even like separate from that notion that this is important because this is me, or I remember this because I have to remember because I'm human, because I know what being human is by just remembering this. But that we get so like confused because we tend to always forget that sometimes we can just be wrong, and that just hurts us really hard. And it's like running into a wall with all our thoughts screaming all over the place, and then when we hit the wall, it's the most humbling but harshest reality crash that we ever experienced. Mostly very often with newer people, or it can also be with older connections and deeper relationships.
Yeah, thank you, Theo.
Yeah.
And I love that there's connection there. And also, I want to stay with what you shared, Nikki. I really appreciate the tenderness of that awakening. That even though there's no intention to disrupt somebody else's need, it doesn't mean there isn't a loss there. And
Yeah.
and so just staying with that. It's a different reward system to say, I want to come back to my body because I don't want to miss out on this. Lovely.
Yeah, and I want to live in the present more rather than living in the thought, the images in my mind. Because the more that you do that, I think the harder it is to live in the present when there's things that you have to actually interact with.
Yeah.
That's completely different than when you're interacting with those things in your memory or in your imagination. So, yeah.
It's a little bit like all these cards on the ground just piling up around your little avatar, and you're just like, I have to tell you the next card, and then I can't see you anymore.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. All right, Armani.
Okay. This one comes from the demonstrate category. I was a little confused since it was it's at the wording here, so I'll read it and then I'll read my interpretation of it and at least the answer I have. So this one says, what boundary do I need for myself to stay in integrity? And my interpretation was, what boundary do I need for myself to maintain my integrity? And the answer I had for it, this had to do more with prioritization, prioritizing more about prioritizing long-term growth over shorter-term happiness or excitement, and it's a worthwhile investment. So, and I guess I'm kind of answering that question because I'm here, so I feel like that's probably like step one. So,
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. What a great way to acknowledge that my integrity can be about less short-term reward and longer-term leaning in. Doing not the funnest thing in VR chat right now, standing around this fire talking about messing up, but it's also that investment for long-term health and maybe relationships that are a bit softer, a little less like jolty. Yeah. Thank you. All right, George.
Mine is, what am I doing differently today? I'm thinking about my wants instead of what I feel I should do, what I want to do instead of what I feel like I should do. Because recently I lost a lot of sleep. I went through a lot of suffering, and I realized my mind was just full of shoulds. And all that suffering, it sucked, but it led to that clarity, which leads to me now.
Yeah, so well put. Sometimes the shoulds, they just pile up over time until they all fall down all around us. And then it's a hard sense of like, where's my path? Do I have a path? Have I ever been on the path? Do paths exist? And it spirals very quickly. And so that question, which letter is that question for? The D. Yeah. So this is about.
I didn't tie that into
Oh, that's okay.
into the exercise.
Well, it's an interesting piece because by saying, what am I doing differently here? This is about amends. We say our sorries, but we don't necessarily have a plan or notice any change in our patterns. And then we're like, oh no, I'm bad. I did it different. I didn't do anything different. And it happened again. And now I feel like I'm a bad person here. And so recentering in what is my heart, what is my body being pulled towards, can help me recognize, did the card just fall through the ground? Do you need to make amends on that? He
my God.
He threw your card away, George. And it doesn't even get to burn. Whoever's still here, we get to burn our cards and see the bridge built. Oh, that's great. Love it. Love it. So now, without further ado, Lau is going to start the amends process for real today with his card, which is the A. Acknowledge what happened. Go for it. Wow.
Yeah, acknowledge what happened. Was this a one-time thing or it's a part of a pattern? It is, I would say it is confirm a pattern, but recognizing a pattern is really hard. Like, it's always been here. The habits is always been here. How do you change it, or how do you even recognize it that the pattern might be wrong or that might hurt people is really hard until someone point it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
to acknowledge it, we will need to find out, right?
Yeah. And sometimes what I think is the pattern is not actually the part that hurt somebody. And so even if I see a pattern, it doesn't mean that's the part I need to mend first. And so just asking the question, is this part of a bigger cycle inside of me that I don't understand? And it might take me years to understand what's happening here. It can be scary to be uncertain that way, but having the courage to ask that question when we're apologizing to somebody. And I have learned to actually incorporate this into my I'm sorry's. I will do an outward reflection of if I've seen me do this before and where this might be coming from if people are interested to know that. So that's a really important one. Well, I didn't grab a card, but you've gotten to see me make more than, oh, look at that little amends moment. That's so sweet. And then Armani has two, so maybe Armani would give you his, and we can do a ceremonial burning. I will grab Carl's here.
This one's
We're gonna glitch the world out because when we burn these cards, they're all gonna fly at the same time to make the bridge.
Ooh!
Look at that beautiful
Yeah,
tree.
burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn.
That is actually really adorable.
Isn't that fun? They're all on fire.
Very fun.
And
I'm so happy that you actually get to burn them.
Right? It feels like a relief. I saw this world and I realized, God, when we lean into hard things, we need to know something shifted. We need to see it and feel it transform. And not only does it burn, but it travels. So come over here.
Yeah. Oh. Now I'm also really happy I didn't try to sneak and burn my card.
So as you can see, there's still possessed cards traveling over here. Don't fall off the cliff. But if we'd had enough people for our exercise today, we might have made a bridge that was solid enough for us to leap across this very deep cavern that has no there goes Theo.
Yep.
And
gotcha.
And so Theo will be respawning. He did. It's hopscotch right now.
I love this.
But you can see how the questions help us bridge to the crystal of new awakenings over there. Go, Armani. He's going to parkour his way. Nice. You made the bridge
I'm happy
work.
You said that was a cliff, because I thought it was a really reflective, dark pool of water.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I was about to just walk right on in.
Unless you all don't get stomach issue. Oh, nice. Go, Nikki. Wow. This is the nice. Lau's just like, I have wings. I get to fly. Oh my gosh. I don't know. But actually, look at this right now. So you're on that side and we're on this side, right? And part of the amends process has been considered. And then think about how we normally say, I'm sorry, right? We normally are just like, oops, all right, I'll do that different next time. Or I hope it didn't hurt you too much. And then we just keep going. And together we just built wisdom and we built reflection and maybe little pause points when we're in conflict to just say, what if I don't have to feel just ashamed of this and like I'm in the pit? And what if I can just find one more question, one more answer to build a better bridge? So that was the whole point of this. Maybe we
found bravery too, because like after Theo jumped, it was like, oh, okay, no, not yet. But then there was a few more cards after you disappeared, and someone went, and then it was like, hey, yeah, Marnie went,
Hey,
and then
there's
it
a
was like,
bridge.
okay. And then I felt brave enough as my little self. I was like, well, let me try this. And we
Oh,
made it.
we made it, and
It's
I'm
hard.
staying.
Me
It's
bravery.
hard with the big avatar. I kept
I'm
falling
I'm
off.
staying over here with the PC only people, because I think it's harder to parkour on PC sometimes. But
Yeah.
nice, that was doing that. Let's oh, we lost Lau. I was thinking we could step on each card and get a little photo, but we can also just hang out on the different sides. It's a cool goodbye photo either way. Got to say goodbye to our stream also. Let's get Lau back on the other side because it's a very sweet balance. Go Lau. Oh, he's parkouring. Yay.
Whoa, 1 foot.
Did
Wow.
it. 1
Dang.
foot. Because he's literally in full body tracking. So that's fun. All right.
Oh,
so
man.
now that you have had a little chance to play with amends making, what's the word for the rest of the day? You can shout any word.
Dinner.
Dinner. For Lau, for sure. Cheese. Oh gosh. Okay.
Ooh,
Multi-meaning. Oh dear. Here we go. Cheese is back.
Cheese.
There you go.
Cheese.